Everyone is arguing about the next crash. Rates, AI bubbles, debt, war, politics. But the people who actually move markets? They're not arguing, they're positioning. Because while retail is watching the price, smart money is watching the pressure. And in the last few months, that pressure left fingerprints. Warren Buffett's Berkshire just revealed a brand new multi-billion-dollar position in Alphabet, the parent company of Google. Almost 18 million shares. Quiet. Clinical. No hype. Berkshire also kept adding to an insurance giant, and even added to a pizza company. Michael Burry? He's doing what he always does before things break, hedging one side and quietly taking the other. His latest filing shows huge put positions against two AI favorites, while he loads call options on old-school names like Pfizer. And Ray Dalio's Bridgewater? They opened a brand new position in one of the most important picks and shovels companies behind the chip boom. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. None of this guarantees a crash tomorrow, but it does tell you something. It tells you what the smartest, richest investors in the world want in their portfolio. If the market stops being a party and starts being a problem. So, today, we're going to go through 7 stocks. Smart money is quietly loading up on why they matter, and the one common pattern they all share that most retail investors miss until it's too late. Let's jump straight into the trades and keep watching to the end, because one of these 7 stocks looks completely out of place, and it's the one that tells you exactly what kind of crash smart money is preparing for. But one quick warning before you copy anything. 13F filings are delayed snapshots. They don't show everything, and by the time you see them, the money may already be moving again. Use this like a detective, not like a robot. All right. Stock number 1, Alphabet, Google, the toll booth. Berkshire didn't just buy a tech stock. They bought a toll booth. In Berkshire's Q3 2025 filing, they disclosed about 17.82 million shares of Alphabet, worth roughly $4.3 billion at the time. And that matters for 2 reasons. 1. Buffett has spent years basically admitting he missed Google early. 2. Berkshire has also been a net seller of stocks for multiple quarters, while building a record cash pile. So when a firm sitting on nearly $382 billion in cash decides, you don't ignore it. Yeah, this is where we deploy. But why Alphabet, if a crash is coming? Because Alphabet is one of the rare growth companies that can behave like a defensive business. Think about it. When the economy is booming, companies advertise. When the economy slows, companies still advertise. They just get pickier. And the pickiest advertisers on earth? They don't cut Google first. They cut the experimental stuff. They cut the brand campaigns. They cut the spray and pray. Then they double down on the channels where you can track every click, every lead, every sale. That's Google search. That's YouTube. That's the part of the internet that acts like infrastructure. And infrastructure is what smart money buys when they're worried about chaos. But here's the catch. Alphabet isn't risk-free. It lives under constant regulatory and antitrust pressure. And any ad-driven business can feel economic slowdowns. So the lesson isn't buy Google. The lesson is this. Smart money is not abandoning technology. They're abandoning fragile story-based tech and rotating into cash printing platforms with moats. And that pattern shows up again and again in the rest of this list. Stock number 2, UnitedHealth, UNH, the healthcare cash engine. This one surprised people because Berkshire doesn't usually chase headlines in healthcare. But in a filing covering the quarter ending June 30th, 2025, Berkshire disclosed a new stake of about 5.04 million shares of UnitedHealth, worth roughly $1.57 billion at the time. And according to reporting, Berkshire may have been buying for months under a confidential SEC request, which is basically how big institutions avoid spiking the price while they accumulate. Now, forget politics for a second. Forget the noise. Forget who's angry at the healthcare system. Zoom out. What is UnitedHealth? It's a machine that sits between patients, employers, government programs, doctors, and pharmacies. And in a recession or crash, the thing most people can't afford to lose is healthcare coverage. That's why healthcare tends to be one of the last sectors people abandon. And that's why a giant, diversified healthcare ecosystem can be attractive when the rest of the market feels like thin ice. But there's also a darker reason smart money likes this kind of company in volatile times. When things get messy, the system doesn't simplify. It gets more complex, more rules, more billing complexity, more administrative friction, and the companies built to operate inside complexity, they often get stronger. That's the warning. Because if a crash brings political pressure, regulation can change overnight. Margins can get squeezed. Public sentiment can turn vicious. So again, this isn't a free money stock. It's a signal. Smart money is buying essential systems, not optional gadgets. Stock number 3, Chubb, CB, the insurance fortress. If there's one sector that screams storm prep, it's insurance. And Berkshire has been building a massive position in Chubb. In its Q3 2025 13F, Berkshire disclosed a Chubb position of about 31.33 million shares, valued at roughly $8.84 billion at the time. And reporting on the filing noted Berkshire added to that position in the quarter, increasing its holding by around 4.3 million shares, roughly a mid-teens percentage jump. Now, why does this matter before a crash? Because insurance is basically a business built on one word: float. They take premiums today, invest that money, and pay claims later. In good times, float grows. In bad times, float becomes power. Because when the world gets riskier, insurance prices rise. And when insurance prices rise, the best insurers get to reprice risk. That's why insurance can be one of the most quietly resilient business models on earth. But it's not magic. Insurance can get hit by catastrophes. Claims can surge. Bad underwriting can destroy a company. So why Chubb? Because smart money doesn't want insurance. They want disciplined underwriting, global diversification, and a company built to survive ugly years. This is the kind of stock you buy when you're not trying to win a quarter. You're trying to survive a decade. Stock number 4, Occidental Petroleum, OXY, the inflation, chaos hedge. Now we leave boring, and we get into something more primal, energy, because every crash has a soundtrack, and that soundtrack is usually oil down, then oil up, then panic. Berkshire's filing shows a huge common stock position in Occidental, about 264.94 million shares, valued around $12.5 billion at the time of the report. And Berkshire has been steadily increasing its stake over time, with reporting in prior periods noting it had lifted ownership to roughly the high 20% range. So what does Buffett see here? Part of it is simple. Occidental isn't just an oil company. It has a large chemicals business. It has assets that throw off cash when oil prices cooperate. But the deeper point is this. In a world where inflation can flare, where geopolitics can yank supply chains, where energy policy can change with elections, owning real physical production can act like an anchor. When money gets weird, hard assets stop looking boring. But let's be honest, energy is volatile. OXY can get crushed in the wrong commodity cycle. It's not a sleep well forever stock. It's a positioning stock. It tells you smart money is preparing for a world where inflation shocks and supply shocks are not hypothetical. They're normal. Stock number 5, Domino's Pizza, DPZ'd, the recession comfort trade. Okay, this is the part where some people click off, because you hear pizza company and you think it's a joke. It's not. In Berkshire's Q3 2025 filing, Domino's shows up as a sizable position, about 2.98 million shares. And data tracking the filing noted Berkshire added to the position in that quarter by hundreds of thousands of shares. Now, why would smart money add a pizza chain before a crash? Because recessions change behavior. People don't stop eating. They stop splurging. They trade down. Instead of a sit-down restaurant, it's delivery. Instead of let's spend, it's let's be careful. And the best trade-down businesses aren't the cheapest. They're the most convenient. Domino's is basically a logistics company disguised as pizza. A huge chunk of the model is franchised. The brand is sticky. And in a downturn, a lot of families still want something simple that feels like a treat. Now again, this isn't risk-free. Consumer spending can tighten. Competition is brutal, but the signal matters. Smart money is buying businesses tied to everyday behavior, not luxury mood swings. Stock number 6, Applied Materials, AMAT, the chip maker's landlord. Every cycle has a story stock. Right now, that story is AI. And the problem with story cycles is that they create two markets. One market for companies with real cash flows, and one market for companies powered by belief. Smart money doesn't like belief. Smart money likes toll booths. So while retail chases the hottest chip names, Bridgewater quietly opened a new position in Applied Materials, disclosed as roughly a $94.9 million stake in its Q3 2025-13F. Here's why that's interesting. Applied Materials is not the flashy face of the AI boom. It's the picks and shovels, the machines that make the machines, the equipment behind the fabs. And in a world where every major economy wants more domestic semiconductor supply, companies that sit upstream can have staying power even when the market mood changes. But yes, this is cyclical. Capital spending can freeze, orders can slow, valuations can compress. So why would smart money buy now? Because in a crash, the best entries don't happen in perfect companies. They happen in essential companies that get marked down with everything else. And essential is the key word. Applied Materials is essential to the entire semiconductor supply chain. That's why it shows up in a crash prep watch list. Stock number 7, Pfizer, PFE, the cheap optionality be it. This last one ties the whole video together because it's the most Burry trade possible. In Cyan Asset Management's Q3 2025-13F information table, Burry disclosed call options on Pfizer, 6 million shares worth. In the same filing, he also disclosed large put option positions against Nvidia and Palantir. That's not random. That's a portfolio built for a specific environment. A world where the bubble part of the market can fall, while the boring cash flow part survives, and the beat-down value part rebounds hard. Pfizer, after the post-pandemic hangover, has spent time being treated like dead money. And that's exactly the kind of setup Burry likes. A hated giant, a low expectation stock, a company with real cash flow and a pipeline that can surprise. But let's be clear, drug development is risky. Patent cliffs are real. Political pressure is real. This isn't a sure thing. It's optionality. A relatively cheap bet that sentiment can swing back. And that's the final pattern. Smart money isn't just buying defensives, they're buying positions that benefit from a shift in mood. So what do these 7 stocks have in common? It's not the sector, it's not the brand, it's not the headline story. It's the role they play in a portfolio when the world gets unstable. They're all some version of a toll booth, a system, a fortress, a hard asset, a trade-down habit, a picks and shovel supplier, or cheap optionality. That's what smart money loads up on when the next crash is a possibility, not a fantasy. Now here's what retail investors usually do wrong. They see a list like this and they treat it like a shopping cart. That's how people get destroyed. Because the point of tracking smart money isn't copying trades, it's learning a process. So if you want to use this the right way, here are 3 rules. Rule number 1, study the why, not the what. A 13F shows you what someone owned at a point in time. It doesn't show you what they own today. It doesn't show you hedges. And it definitely doesn't show you your risk tolerance. Use the filings to ask better questions. Why insurance now? Why healthcare now? Why a toll booth tech stock instead of a story stock? That's the education. Rule number 2, look for clusters. One famous investor buying one stock is interesting. Multiple smart investors moving into the same theme? That's a signal, not a guarantee. A signal. Right now, the cluster is obvious. Quality, cash flow, essentials, and a bias toward businesses that survive stress. Rule number 3, keep dry powder. The biggest difference between retail and pros isn't IQ, it's liquidity. Crashes are clearance sales for the people who planned ahead. That doesn't mean selling everything. It means not being all in all the time. Because when fear hits, the market doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the prepared one. And that brings us to the real takeaway. If the next crash hits, the winners won't be the people who predicted the exact date. They'll be the people who built a portfolio that can take the punch and had the cash to buy when everyone else is forced to sell. So if you want the next step, if you want to see the 5 warning signals that tend to show up before every major crash and how to spot them before the headlines do, click the video on screen.